in a while for questions. So welcome to the Covidence workshop today. Here's our objective. Is that we are going to go over a few things in Covidence: how to set up a review, how to import reference and full text, how to screen title, abstract, and full text in Covidence, and how to set up data extraction forms. So we'll go over all of that. First of all, what is Covidence? Covidence is an online platform for comprehensive reviews production. It was first created for systematic reviews with the Cochrane group, but it's quite larger and now, and anyone doing comprehensive reviews could certainly use or benefit from using Covidence. It's basically help save time and streamline processes. It doesn't do the work for you, but it helps during the work. It also allows international collaboration. What I mean by that is that if you're working with people from other institutions, they can join in your review and participate. Not all people working on the review in Covidence, they don't all need to be with the University of Ottawa. So I think that's an important piece of information for many people. So the first step is to subscribe to Covidence. So the University of Ottawa, we have an institutional subscription. So it's just the way it works to get that more advanced institutional account is to ask for an account by clicking on that link. So that's the first step. And you will need to use your University of Ottawa email to sign up. Also, just so you know, the link here is also available on the University of Ottawa Covidence guide, but I will put the link in the chat in a minute. Just after I'm done in the next few minutes with this PowerPoint. So as I said, I just mentioned the guide. So we have a guide online for Covidence with a lot of details. So you can have a look over there if you have any questions, but we also certainly support our members if they have any troubles or what's not or question, please feel free to email us. So that's it for the PowerPoint per se. And then I'm gonna be doing mostly live demo for the whole thing. Let me just quickly, I'm gonna stop the share and plug in the, okay, so here's the URL to get to be able to sign up for Covidence with the institutional account. Okay, so I'm gonna share again, excuse me. And we'll go in, so once you have, basically once you have asked for this account, there's a bit of back and forth. You need to, after that, create the account, etc. The first thing when you go in Covidence is to create a new project. They call them reviews. So it's a new review. So it's the first few steps, very simple. Of course, you name the review, whatever you want to call it. But this is the important piece here, is that they always put your name as an account you can use, but this is like, they have a trial version with Covidence, and that's what they mean with this. So never use your name as for which account you want to use. So always select University of Ottawa, and then you click create a review. If you call the review review, it's probably not going to work. It still needs to be a bit of a unique name. So just give a name that works for all for you guys. And then, once you create that review, you will be going into that review, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over all the different steps. In fact, when you create a review, the first thing, it brings you automatically to the settings. So for the settings, I'm going to go over all of that, okay? As you can see, you can even change the review name here. So that's important. I'm just going to scroll down because that's the most important part here. Reviewer required for screen. So for title abstract, that's what they mean when Covidence says for screen, they mean title abstract screening. And then required for full text review, it's the full text screening. And for data extraction. So all of that, by default, Covidence basically says you need to be 2 reviewers to independently screen every title abstract, and then after that full text and even data extraction, okay? That's the default, because for systematic reviews and even scoping reviews, another type of comprehensive review, it is what is required or recommended is to double the screening to remove bias. But Covidence allow you to change it to 1. I'm not going to do it for my example here, but if you change it to 1 for either title, abstract, or for full text review, you can, and also for data extraction, okay? So it means that 1 person will screen all these title abstract and not 2 people doubling the screening, if you wish. So it's possible. So again, some people use Covidence for their own project, their own literature review, because they like the interface and they want to use it. And it's a literature review. It's not a more systematic or scoping review, a more comprehensive review. So that is why I'm talking about this now. It's kind of an important first step. So as I said, the default is 2, but you can change it to 1. If you are 3, 4, 5 people working on the review project, it's okay. You can still be many people doing the review. What will happen is that the default is 2 reviewers. It means that if you are 5 people, 2 people from that group will review every citation and every full text afterwards. And it will be randomly attributed by Covidence to the reviewers. So it means that many people will review everything, but it's always only 2 people doubling the review for each paper, sorry. I'm going to talk a bit more. You know what? I'm going to jump into team settings because there is more to what I just talked about. Under team settings, here, it kind of talk a bit about what I just said. You can, the default is everyone can do anything. But let me click on manage rule to explain what it means. So I just said that if you are many people doing the project, every citation will be screened twice, but it's randomly given to reviewers by Covidence. But you could say, I want 1 reviewer to screen all these references. So that's what it means. So it means that this person will be the one screening everything. So it adds a bit of, my goodness, I'm losing the word here, but it would add consistency, but it's not required. It's just for some research group, for example, that's what they want to do. They want to make sure that 1 person review everything. But anyhow, so you can do that here. And conflict can be resolved by, the default is anyone, or you can say only the faculty member, for example, will do the conflict resolution. So that's just something you can decide and do. Same principle applies for full text review where, sorry, I'm just scrolling down for the rules, same idea. It will say, the default is anyone can do the screening, or you can add 1 reviewer that will screen everything, or a same thing for conflict as well. So, and for data extraction, you don't have that choice here. But for data extraction, I'm jumping back to review settings at first. You can still say either 1 or 2 people, but there's not that possibility of, sorry, here, I'm going back to team settings. There's not that rule thing, unfortunately. Okay, so I jumped a bit fast on this, the second tab here, reviewers. So let's have a look at that. This is where you will invite the reviewers. So meaning all the people that will do the screening. So that's very simple. You click on this button, invite a reviewer, and you put a name. I'm inviting myself once more. And then I put my email and I say invite, and it will send an invitation. And now it's not doing it because I'm already in it, but it will simply send an invitation to these reviewers. So as I explained before, if you're inviting people that are not at the university, it's okay. But what happens is that anyone that you invite, if they don't already have a Covidence account, they will have to create for themselves a Covidence account. Okay, so it means that, and again, it will be most likely the trial-free version, or if it's someone at the university and for themselves, they want to have the institutional Covidence account, they will need to do the same step as I showed you before, meaning sign up for the institutional account. But when they get the invitation, the basic thing is just for them to create an account, and the default is the free account. So anyhow, I don't want to make this confusing, but what's important is that the person creating the project, that's the person that needs to have this institutional account so that they have the full, the full features. So all the other people don't have to have the institutional account to do all the work, because it's to create the review that you need it. Okay, I hope I'm making myself clear. Once I'm done with explaining the setting, I'll stop, and then if there's any question or comments, we can go over that quickly. The next thing here under the settings, criteria and exclusion reasons. The first thing here, they says, basically they are saying you can add what are your inclusion and exclusion reasons here. The point of doing that, it's only when you do screening, you can see them over there, and I'll show you later. So many people don't add them, but it's okay, you can add them here. It's just, it might help the screening process. But what's important in this page is this here. Manage exclusion reasons, for full text review. So you click on that. Okay, let me take a minute to explain. You know what, I'll just get out of this for 1 second. When you do a review, again, a comprehensive review, like a systematic review, the default is that for title abstract screening, you don't have to give a reason why you are excluding an abstract, okay? But at the full text level screening, you need to give a reason why you are excluding a paper. This is where you can set up your reasons. Covidence has a list of reasons, default 1. So of course you can still use that. Just so you know, it's clinically oriented. So it's for like intervention reviews, etc. So for example, wrong patient population, wrong outcome, etc. So when you want to add something, that's it. You want to add a new reason. So you type it and you click add, and that's it. As you can see, I have a few of them. And for any of these that are the defaults one from Covidence, you can delete them. It's quite easy. You just click on this garbage can. So I'm going to delete a few of those test ones. You see this one, no outcome measured. This is me who added that one previously. Okay, I see a hand raised. Yes, Jennifer, do you want to?
Yes, I have a question. When you put all your reasons, is it, maybe I'm wrong, but I've used it before, and you only select one reason, so there kind of has to be a bit of a hierarchy. Is there any way that you say for full text or something that say you would want to put all the reasons why it doesn't apply? Is there a way to do that, or is only always just one?
That's a very good question. And to be honest with you, it's the first time someone is asking me this question. I think in Covidence, unfortunately, it's only one reason for exclusion. I would need to double check, but I think you can only select one reason. So I guess what you mentioned about hierarchy, like you have to probably select what is the main reason for excluding this paper, right? And later I will show you what it looks like and the reasons for exclusion. So I would say that's most likely what you will need to do. And as I say, I might have to check, but I've never seen where you can have more than one reason for excluding one paper. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Because recently we were doing a scoping review, and a reviewer was adamant that we had to put all the reasons. And I said, well, even in the Prisma flowchart, like people don't usually do that, but yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I have never seen that either in reviews. Well, of course, there's so many reviews published, but I think the default for with the Prisma and also for reviews is to have one reason for exclusion per paper. So I would agree with you on that for sure. Okay, I'm just gonna move on, and then as I said, I'm gonna still stop in a few minutes so that we can maybe have more if there's questions or comments for the settings. So that's here. So it's quite important for you to come here and manage those exclusion reasons. Okay, manage highlight. This is just an additional feature, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you want, it's again to help you with screening. So you can add keywords for inclusions and keywords for exclusion here, and they will be highlighted when you do screening, okay? So basically that's what I just did. You type something, you click add, and then done. And you can have as many as you want. And some people don't want to do that, and that's okay. So it's just an additional feature in Covidence. And I would say that study tags, not the same thing, but close to it. Tags, you can add what tags here, and those tags, you have to select them when you do the screening, and I'll show you. But to add a tag to a paper or an abstract, it's like managing the tags. You do that here, and afterwards, when you screen, you can add those tags to the study. So this functions differently than the highlight. The highlight is by default, it will be highlighted. And again, I'll show you what it looks like in the title abstract screening phase. Before I move on then from settings, is there any other questions or comments for the settings? Okay, I'll move on, but again, never hesitate to ask your questions. I can also look at the chat. I'm sorry, I'm not good at looking at the chat while I'm teaching, but I'll try to do that as well. Okay, so now that you have organized or set up your settings, the next step is to have abstracts sent or, put them, sorry, I cannot talk today. You have to import references. That's what I'm trying to say, because by default, you won't have, anything. It will be empty. It will be an empty project. So you need to fill it up. So I'm going to quickly show you from a database. That's usually what we would do. It's from a regular database. And I'm using Ovid Medline, and I'm sorry, that's my default using this database. Most of our database, there will be a file that is compatible with Covidence, and the file format compatible is RIS. There's other ones as well, so we can have a look at that later. So basically what you have to do is you go to a database, the database of your choice, or many databases, in fact, and you do a search. So I'm just gonna do a quick search. And then once you have done the search, you would export those references. So I'm just only gonna export 10, but usually for reviews, we would select all. If you have 2,000, that's what you wanna do, except, sorry, I should say, some databases have limits of how many references you can send in one shot. like in Ovid, it's recommended to maybe send only 1,000 at a time. Again, today I'm doing a very small amount just for the demonstration. But other than that, either you do all, or you would say, 1 to 1,000, and then after that, 1,001 to 2,000, etc. Okay, and then you click export. So that's quite basic what I'm showing today from the database point of view. It will open this window, and under format, you need to select RIS, right? And under fields, you select, well, we recommend complete reference. The important is citation and abstract because you need the abstract, but anyhow, usually I would say complete reference. Usually you don't worry too much about what is selected here. Maybe make sure URL is selected. So yeah, RIS and then complete reference, and then you click export. Depending on your computer setup, it will either ask you to save it or it will automatically save the file on your computer. So from here, what you do then is go back to Covidence. So now my file has been saved on my computer, and then you go back to your Covidence project and you click on the button import. Import in, and again, that could be a bit confusing. It's because you could import in somewhere else along the way during the project, but the default, as what everyone does, is at first you need to send them to screen. As I explained before, for Covidence, what they mean by screen is the title abstract screening. So that's where you want to send them those references. And then you click browse, and it will, for me, it goes to my downloads, and I select my file and I click import. Quite easy, I think. So while you are importing, it will check, and that's the important part here. It will check for duplicates. Sorry, it went a bit fast, but while it was doing the job, it was saying checking for duplicates. And there was no duplicates. Oh no, sorry. I should change my demonstration topic, because 0 studies were added because I already had content that is on this topic. So all these references were sent to duplicates. Excuse me. Usually that wouldn't do that for you. So it will say how many were sent to screening, the reference you selected or you sent, you imported, and then how many were duplicates. You can even look at the duplicates if you want. Anyhow, so you have a history of your imports. Again, for comprehensive review, usually we would search in many databases. So you do one, you import, export from every database. And if they find duplicates, if Covidence finds duplicates, then it will be removed automatically. It does a good job, by the way, to remove duplicates. There might still be some because they do it on the safe side. But okay, so that's it for the import. Again, I know there's some databases that don't use RIS, so you would need to check what works best. And I know for PubMed, they don't have RIS, but I have the steps. And if you're interested, I can put that in a chat later, how to import, export from PubMed to Covidence. And I know some other databases as well don't have RIS. So then what would happen, sorry, I'm just going to mention that quickly, is that you would export from the database, you would have to import it in a citation manager, such as Zotero, Mendeley. And then from that, you export again and import it in an RIS format to Covidence. Whew. So yeah, sometimes it might be a bit more tricky. Usually, anyways, personally, it works quite well for most of the database we use in health. And I know, I'm sorry, some other ones might not use that. I'm going to move on. If there's any question, please let me know. Once you have imported all those references, then you start the title abstract screening. To start, you click the button continue from this screen. Okay, so I'm going to spend a few minutes explaining what you are seeing here. So it brings you by default where you will be doing the screening. And basically what you do is that you vote. So for this abstract, I would have to vote yes, no, or maybe. Just so you know, the maybes are basically a yes. So if two people say either yes or maybe, that abstract will be sent to full text to the next phase, okay? So I would say sometimes people are a bit unsure, so they click maybe, but it doesn't go anywhere else except either yes or no. So if someone votes yes and the other one votes no, that becomes a conflict. So let me just jump there right away. So you see this tab at the top, resolve conflicts. So I have two here. So going back to what I said in the settings, sometimes you would have someone that is dedicated to resolve conflict, or if not, another method that is quite okay to use is to have a conversation amongst the reviewers. Basically, a consensus needs to be needs to happen. So you would discuss. So you would meet and you decide, okay, this one we have a conflict. What do we do? What people think, and then you vote. Again, even if it's a maybe, it's basically a yes. So it will go to full text screening. So only one person needs to vote, and then it will go to either no, it will be removed, or yes, it will go to full text screening. I'm going to jump back to screening. Okay, so if you want to see your inclusion and exclusion criteria, that's where you can do that. Show criteria, this button. So it means that every reviewer, screener, can click on that and see the criteria while they are doing the screenings. And when you scroll down, as you can see, it stays here. It just sometimes when you start the project, you want to remind yourself what it is again, and am I including postgrad students or only undergraduate, whatever the topic is, right? And the highlight, that is what I mentioned to you before. So the default is show highlight, so you could hide the highlight. Let me just scroll down because I guess the first few ones didn't have highlights. So you see, this paper, this abstract had student. So it did highlight student. Sorry, I'm just trying to see again things about students. I didn't put a lot of highlights. Yeah, it's all about students, this one too. Anyways, I had put a few other words to be highlighted. Again, it doesn't mean that because it's not highlighted that it's not a good abstract. It's just, again, it's just to help the screening process, so you could decide if you want to use them or not. Okay, for the tags, basically, if you're saying, I want to add a tag to this review, it's most likely for the other reviewers, because you want to say to other reviewers, this is an ongoing study, it's important that we mention that. So then I would do that. And then there we go. So it adds a tag here, ongoing study. So for you, does it add anything? No, but it's for the other reviewers. Once they vote, they will see the tag. And then I'll talk about notes, because same idea with notes. You could add a note for the other reviewers to see it. Personally, I'm sorry, I'm like, okay, adding notes. So I just type something, I clicked add, and so there's a note. You have to click view one note to see it. Okay, so the other reviewer would have to click to see it. So it's, I don't know, I think it could be useful if there's really something, but at the same time, we need to remember that usually why we do two screeners is to remove bias. And if someone is always saying to the other ones, this is a good one, this is not a good one, then you're kind of starting to influence other people, right? So anyway, so that's just my take on this, but certainly you can add notes. This feature here, mark as duplicate, it's a new thing. Okay, let me do it for this one. When you click it, it will disappear, and this is a new feature in Covidence. So it means that, as I said before, when Covidence remove duplicates, it does it on the safe side. So it's possible that there might still be some in there. So they are providing you with the capacity to make this paper abstract as a duplicate. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that. That's about it. I mean, you can add filters, but I don't know. These are all featured to help with the screening whenever people are, doing the screening. Resolve conflict. This awaiting another reviewer, it means that these relevant abstract have had one vote. And irrelevant references, that's where when two reviewers said no, then that's where it goes. Those references, that's where it goes. You don't have to review either of those. It's just, I'm explaining what these are. Okay, I'm gonna pause again. Is there any questions with the title abstract screening phase? Covidence is very intuitive. I mean, it's, I love it. Okay, so as you can see here, when I go back to the main page, project page, it gives me, well, sometimes this is a bit, it's hard sometimes to look at this, and when you have 4,000 almost abstract to review, but it gives you the team's progress. So that's interesting. Okay, so now you've done all of your abstract. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. When you are, let's say, 4 reviewer, and everyone might review an X number of those abstracts. So that's the beauty of, if possible, if you can be more people, it means that everyone will not have to review 3,925 abstract. It means if there's 4, it means it cuts it in half. So almost a bit less than 2,000. So it means that you have less to review. But again, of course, mostly when it's for a student project, you might not have this luxury of having many people to do the review. Well, and I just wanted to explain that bit here. Okay, I'm going to move on to full text review. Okay, so for full text, again, oh, and one thing interesting is that you can start full text screening even if you're not done with title abstract. I don't know if you want to do that or not. I'm just saying it's possible. Okay, so let me click here. Now I just realized this morning that okay, anyways, I realized something this morning, so, but I need to fix that after this session. When you are ready for full text screening, first of all, Covidence does not grab full text for you, unfortunately. There's a few ways to do it for sure. The basic way is to go back to the library collection and grab those full text yourself and add it here. And that's what the mistakes I said I made, is that all of my example have a full text, but usually it would say, instead of view full text, it would say add full text, I think, okay? So there is a method, if you wish, for bulk upload. Bulk upload could be quite useful if you have like 200 paper to screen full text. But you need to use software, like a citation management software. And up to now, I know it works well with EndNote and Zotero. At the library, we created all the steps. It's a bit technical, so I'm not going to go over that with you guys today. But we have created guidelines. So if you go back to the Covidence online library guide that I mentioned earlier, and I can put the link again in the chat later, we have those steps, sorry. So how to do that bulk upload. But if not, then what you would do, and I'm just going to do, which one do I want to do? Yeah, this one, because I know we have it. Okay, so the bulk upload is one option, but if not, what you would do is you might grab the title of the abstract of the paper and you put it in so sorry, I'm kind of jumping the gun here. So I am at the library website, so biblio.uottawa.ca. You see this box here. This is the library catalog. So it's everything we have. It will be linking you to a full text if we have it. So I put the title, the paper's title in the search box. I click search. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just quickly showing you that's one way to do it. There's other ways, but that's maybe one of the easiest way, I guess. So the first one is the good one. So I click on it. And so basically for any of these paper, if we have it full text, you scroll down until you see this view online full text availability. So we have access to it. Well, I say we, but this article, just so you know, it's an open access journal. So it's available online anyway. So I click on one of those links from the catalog and it will bring me to the provider website where we have those full text. And again, sometimes you have to click somewhere else to find the PDF. So I clicked on PDF and I have it. So what I would do is save it on my computer, save the file. Again, it's, basic way to do that. Sorry. Okay. And then I go back to, once I've saved the file, I go back to Covidence and you would click on this button here that says add full text. And I'm just going to do it here. And you would go get the file. So this is the file for the full text, open, right? And then finished. So you need to do these steps for all these papers that we don't have yet the full text in Covidence. So you need to add them manually. I also want to talk about something else, which is if we don't have these full text, but I just want to quickly show you. So what happens is when you will be ready to do the full text screening from Covidence, it basically, you would click on the link here. So you need to, okay, let me just show you here. You click view full text and then you click on the link. So the full text is kind of all hosted, saved on Covidence. And I forgot to mention at the beginning, Covidence is a web tool online only, right? It's not something you download on your computer. I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. So it's saved on, Covidence servers. So when you click on it from your review, it opens the full text, the PDF, and you can read it. And then you go back to Covidence and you vote. Bon, that's the part I need to talk about. Okay, so you've read the full text, the paper, and then you would decide, do I want to include it or exclude it? If you include it, again, it's one vote, and usually it would be that the needs to have 2 votes so that it goes to the next step, which is data extraction of some sort. Okay, and then if you exclude, this is where you would give a reason. So you say, what is the reason to exclude the study? Then you decide which is it. So whatever it is, again, you need to, so, oh yeah, sorry. It's quite nice. Now Covidence also link you back to the settings. So if you forgot, one potential reason, so you could click edit this list and it brings you back here and you can add a new new reason for exclusion. So basically you would select something and you click confirm. And then you will not see this paper anymore on your end. But then, as I said, sorry, I'm repeating myself, but someone else will have to decide to exclude it as well. So that, that's what happens for the next phase. Then if there's conflicts, so again, here Covidence allows you to resolve conflicts. So I'm just clicking on it. Yeah, okay. So same kind of principle. Oh yeah, sorry. Here I made an example where there were 2 different reasons selected. And that might happen because between reviewers, and going back to the question before, if there might be more than one reason to exclude the paper, then 2 reviewers might select different reasons. So then it goes to the conflict resolution, and you would basically have to decide. So here, my two examples are a bit, well, they're not the same, but they are close to each other. But then you would have to, same idea as in the title abstract screening. You could either reach consensus with discussing it amongst the reviewer, and then you, as a group, you decide which reason. Or if someone says include and the other one says exclude, same idea, so you have to make a decision. Or you could have a third party, another person who is the one deciding these conflicts. So as I said, Covidence helps you with all of these steps. Before I move on from full text review, I just want to mention, oh yeah, Jennifer, you have a question, go ahead.
Sorry, I have another question. Before you mentioned that, the discussion, you don't want always the same person to kind of have a bit more weight or, influence the process. Is there a way for the person resolving the conflicts in Covidence to see who voted what, to see if there's a pattern? Because in the past, when I've done it, you don't see who said include, who said exclude. So I don't know if that's by default, but you can override it. And if so, where you would go.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let me have a look here. Yeah, no. Sorry, I'm going back to the settings, because in the settings, you see the two people, how many they've done, but it doesn't say who voted what. So I don't think it's possible with Covidence, but it's a good question. I can always ask Covidence directly. But as I know, I don't think it's possible. So the person, so I don't know, to just go a bit further to your question and to talk about that. If one person, resolve conflicts and not the group, it's the decision the group made, right? And as I said before, often it might be because it's the PI or the faculty member that will resolve those conflicts. So at the end of the day, it's a decision the group have to make. How are we gonna resolve those conflicts? And the important thing is to be transparent in the method when you write your manuscript, your review manuscript, in the method section explaining. So these two methods or ways to resolve conflicts are valid. Either it's a third party, as I explained, or one person from the group. So, and then they decide the conflicts, or if you decide it's by consensus. The important thing is just to explain what is the process, right? And sorry, this is not answering your question, but I just thought that I would mention that. And yeah, I don't think, sorry, I'm just going to go back to resolve conflict. I think it goes back to the fact that it's supposed to be blind, right? You should be, this whole process is to remove bias. So it's to blind the process. So then you don't see who voted what, but you see what are the reasons that were, so for this specific example, because there's two different reasons, but the other thing is, if someone says yes and someone said no, that's the same thing. It will come here as well. I hope it helped a bit, Jennifer.
Yep, that's okay. Perfect, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so I was done talking. Oh yeah, no, sorry. The one thing I want to mention quickly. So at the library, we have a lot of paper, like we subscribe to so many journals. Sorry, I'm just trying to go back to the library homepage. And go back to homepage. And okay, sorry. So if you need full text papers and we just don't have it in our collection, so you did a search and it doesn't really give us a link of anything. So there's a few things that could be the reason, but it's most likely because we don't have it. We don't subscribe to the journal and we don't have this paper. Under use the library menu here, borrow from other libraries. So if you click here, I just wanted to show you the way we at the library have a service called Interlibrary Loan. Basically, we would get things, articles, or even books that we don't have in our collection. We will get those for you for free for the people, student and faculty staff at the University of Ottawa. It's with using a system called Racer. So if it's your first time, you need to click sign up for Racer. And it's basically a form, you fill it up, with your contact, your details. And once that's done, right away, right after that, you can click here and it will again open a form and you put the details from the article, title, etc., here, and your Racer ID that you just created, and click submit. So basically, I'm just saying, if there's something you need, we don't have in our collection, please do use our service and they'll do whatever they can to find it for you. When it's a journal article, it's usually goes quite well, quickly, although it's not instantaneous, meaning it might take a few days for you to get that paper. Okay, and you would receive it via email. If they cannot find it, I don't know, let's say it's an obscure conference proceeding from Australia and it seems like no one have it, then they might cancel your request. For sure, it might happen. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that and make sure for people that didn't know we have this service, because it does happen. People don't always know we have this service, that it exists. Okay. Okay, before I move on, is there any question about full text review? Okay, I want to talk about this here. So you see at the top of the screen, you have Prisma. One thing as well, quite nice, is that Covidence keep track of everything that is happening with your project. So for example, I imported up to 6,000 studies. There were that many duplicates. So it keeps track of all of that and the screening process, right? And here, going back to what we talked about, if you exclude papers at the full text screening phase, it will also capture what are the reasons for excluding a paper. This is if there's any conflicts, they need to be resolved so that it will appear here. So all of that nice Prisma diagram, it looks nice to show it to you, but then you can click on export data and grab the information. So it basically captured this information along the way. So this is quite nice for researchers and students doing reviews. So you don't have to worry too much about that. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Okay, often people, researchers, students, will stop using Covidence at this point because they've done the screening, which is the main reason why you would use Covidence. But Covidence have also a data extraction feature. So I do want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about exporting things. And so I just want to make sure I don't forget. Okay, so data extraction. I'm just going to click continue. So whenever you finish the full text screening, all the yeses will come here. And then if you click continue. Okay, so there's a lot on here. The first thing to do is go to this button at the top called data extraction template. So I click on that. So Covidence have a data extraction template that exists, that is a default one. Same thing as for the exclusion reason, it's clinically oriented, right? It's for like clinical questions. So what you can do is to either scratch everything and just start from scratch, or you use what they have because they have quite a few nice things in there, but you make changes. Okay, to make changes, there's different ways you can, if you click, so you need to click on one of those, so what you see here is the editor is to create the form, and the preview shows you what it will look like, the data extraction form. So when you want to do any edits, you click on one of those, if you want to add a new line, you click on the plus, and then the first thing they ask you is what is it that you want to add? So I don't know if any of you have done any surveys in the past, but for me, it looks a lot like a survey building thing. So it could be a text field, so open, answers, or a choice. Either you can, a single choice means you have to pick one only, or checkbox is that you can pick more than one. So either whatever you want to use. So let's say it's a text file. And again, I say it's a test. So you see, whenever I did that, it appeared here in the preview. So it's quite easy to use. And again, if I don't like what I did, I can delete it in the left-hand side. So I click delete. I'm just going to redo it one more time. So to add a new thing, it's a bit weird, but you have to click on the plus here besides one of those, and it will bring it under it, okay, which is not very clear, but that's how it works. And if you don't like whatever you've created, you can delete it. Or if you want to delete whatever they have in the default, let's say start date, end date, like you don't want any of those more specific ones, you want to add your own, so you can certainly, oops, not the plus, so you click on it and you click delete. Okay, and I've added a few things. Sorry, I just want to, like, curriculum objective, because this is my project. It was about curriculum development for medical education. So I want to extract from these study what were those curriculum objectives, right? Oh, and I should have put an S there. So, and it's an open texting. So that's the nice thing about it, is that you can create all of that and use this. Okay, I'm not going to spend much more time on that because time is running. So when you're done, I don't know, okay, you can, if you're not done, you can save it as a draft, or you can click publish. Publish means you're done working on the form. And now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave the page for me. Okay. Okay, so once you have done or created this template, you begin extraction. So you click on this button, begin extraction. And what I love about this, oh, and I know, sorry, bad example, because I don't have a full text for this one. Oh, no, I have one at full text. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, another thing I need to figure out is, okay. So let's pretend that here it says begin extraction. So you click on that. The nice thing about it is that the full text that you did included in the full text screening, it will be sent here in this next step. And you can, so the view is that way. So you would see the article, and you can start doing data extraction. Okay, so let's say population, whatever it is, and the population is student. I don't know, I'll just say it's the student, it's student. Usually you wouldn't see, I'm so sorry about that, you wouldn't see the column for the other reviewers. I'm so sorry, but it would be just one column. And because now I'm going to talk about it since I'm here. When two people have finished doing the data extraction, they would save it and complete. But the next step is, if there is any discrepancies, in the data that was captured by two reviewers, you would see this purple button. So under the study design, someone said cohort study, and someone else says it's a prospective cohort study. So someone has to make a decision, and you click on this purple button, and if you decide, okay, I want to say cohort, you can click on whichever box you want to use for the final decision. Or if you say it's not that at all, it's an RCT, I don't know, hopefully not, but then you can put it by yourself by hand. So every time there's a tiny discrepancy between the two reviewer data extraction form, you will need consensus. And again, same principle. Okay, and then once you're done with the consensus, you click save or complete when you're really complete. So I'm just gonna get out of here. I just wanted to show you the nice format where you have the full text and then you have the form right beside it, so you can edit the form right there. And I'm so sorry, I need to fix the fact that I don't have it for a regular beginning extraction because I don't have those full text. I need to grab those. So I'm not going to talk a lot more about this. Well, again, if you need consensus, it says here, or you have a tab at the top. So as I said before, previously, many people were not using Covidence for data extraction. They would use a form like Excel or Google Sheets, whatever it is, okay? So it's up to you. It's really much up to your what you want to do. So I'm just explaining that there is a possibility to do it within Covidence now. So before I finish, basically, we're close to the end. I just want to also talk about export. So I'm going to click on this button at the top for export. So when you're finished with full text screening, you might want to send to a citation manager your included study so that you can use that for your manuscript, right? Because you're going to cite them, et cetera, et cetera. So what you can do, you export those references, which are only the included one. And then it says, well, whichever format. If you select any of the citation manager here, Zotero, blah, 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 it will be a RIS format, basically. And then you click export, and now you have to come here, you down here, and it will prepare the export, and then you can download it here. And then again, same idea, it will create a file so you can save it on your computer. And then wherever you want to send that in, you would import that file to your citation manager. Quick word on inter-rater reliability. I'm so sorry, it's a hard word for me. What is this? This is the Cohen-Kappa coefficient. So this is also kind of new from Covidence. So what you can do with what it is, basically, like, I'm not the best person to explain that, but what is the coefficient, or anyways, whatever the word is, for between the screener, between reviewers. Is there a lot of discrepancy between reviewers or not? So this kappa coefficient calculates that, and often people would add this information in their manuscript. Like they would say, our inter-rater reliability was X, so you can export it, okay, from once you're done with the screening. You can export it. It's a CSV format, which can be transformed into an Excel format afterwards. And same thing for data extraction, okay? So if you're using data extraction in Covidence, you can export as a CSV file the form. And I personally am not always that good with those type of format, but I had to Google and how to transform a CSV file into Excel, and it's just a few steps. And if you're interested, I can put that again in the chat if needed, or you just Google it, how to transform CSV into Excel. I'm sorry if you're like me and sometimes a bit technology challenged. So this is what all these things you can export from your review. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so as I said before, time is running. It's already 11:02, so I've kind of went over 2 minutes. But I'm still here. If there's any more questions, you know what? I think I'm going to stop the share or pause it. I guess I can just pause the share so that I can open the chat and also maybe see you guys. If you have any questions, let's have it now for a few minutes. Oh yeah, Jennifer, sorry, go ahead. Oh, sorry, it's not a hand, it's a clap. I'm sorry. Okay, well, thank you, Jennifer. Anyways, I just want to say, I've put in the PowerPoint a contact information for reaching us at the library. If you have any other Covidence questions, just don't hesitate. Please do contact us. Sometimes we might have to contact Covidence, and some of your questions, Jennifer, I will ask them. I'm curious myself. Um, I don't think it's possible, but I'll just double check, okay? So thank you so much for attending the session today. And yeah, I'm just gonna stop here.